Khruangbin, a Houston-based trio formed in 2010, just released their latest album, La Sala. Intrigued by the track May 9th, I delved into Mark Speer's amazing guitar playing, his way of blending together minimalism, dynamics, and alternating picking patterns, and how he blends these things together to create this psychedelic R&B sound. Let's explore his guitar moves for inspiration in our own riff-making journey. My name is Christian Lee. I help guitarists go from composing to recording their first songs, often in the styles of lo-fi hip-hop, ambient, and instrumental guitar music. The first guitar move or creative decision that stands out in the song is that Speer is very minimal in his playing. If we use some music theory, we can see how this plays out in the song's structure and harmony. What we can do is we can have a look at the chords in order to find out what key the song is in. So we know for a fact that the bass is going back and forth between D and E. So that might indicate the root notes, and then we see the these are the chords that the guitar is playing as well. It's a D and E. Just kind of going back and forth between those two. There's no resolution between these chords. They're kind of just going back and forth and swaying. But then eventually they land on that A, basic A chord, and that really feels like home. So I'm just going to assume that that's the home note or the key of the song. So once we find the key, what we can do is we can play through all the diatonic chords. These are just the chords that relate to the key, so that we have a better overlook of all the potential chords that can be used in the song. So we have A, then B minor, C sharp minor, then D, and then E, F sharp minor, G sharp minor flat 5, and then we return back to A again. So if we lay up the chord progression from earlier, we find the intro. So you have the D and E. This would be the 4th and 5th in this case. And then back to 1. And then we have the verse where Mark Speer plays A. And then he goes to C sharp minor. And then to F sharp minor. And to that D that started the introduction of the song. On the second run of the verse, he does something a little bit different. So he goes from A to C sharp minor, and then he skips the F sharp minor and just goes directly to D. So the chord progression is 1, 3, 6, 4, and then 1, 3, 4. That last one kind of speeds up the verse a little bit and adds a little bit of excitement to the song. During the chorus, which is very short, he does something quite interesting. He stays on a B sus chord. So he plays the root note, the 4th, and the 5th of the B major scale. A normal B chord would sound like this. But then if you move the 3rd one step up, 1/2 step, you get this kind of ethereal, a bit more spacey chord, which kind of lightens everything up a little bit. And then it kind of just lingers on that chord throughout the entire chorus. It's really ethereal, very psychedelic, if you ask me. Then he goes back to the chorus, and here he plays A, and then F sharp minor, and then D. And he does that 2 times. With kind of an altered plucking pattern, as we'll talk a little bit more about later. Later on we get into this really cool instrumental part where he plays an A sus 2. And then an open E chord, kind of the top of of the normal cowboy chord, so to speak. before he returns to the more familiar territory of F sharp minor and D. He could just play an A and a C sharp minor here, just like he does during the verse, but he decides to kind of change it up a bit. So he changed those chords to an A sus2 and an E, kind of making for a brighter tone overall. Minimalism is what I want to highlight here. So the entire band stays in one key throughout the entire song. And there are parts here and there where Mark Speer will experiment a bit. He turns the A into an A sus chord, he turns the B minor into a B sus chord, but it still stays within the same key. And that makes the song somewhat predictable. But the fact that it's very predictable adds to the overall atmosphere of the song. It's very relaxing, it's very soothing to listen to this, and he also leaves a lot of room for his bandmates as well. But how can he play such a predictable set of chords and still make the song sound so fresh? Maybe it's because Mark Speer just plukes the strings just like that. Seriously. If you like this video, I would really appreciate it if you just pluck the like button. Thank you. Anyways, where were we? Dynamics, right. So Speer changes the volume of the notes. He changes his pick attack whenever he plucks the strings. The guitar goes from being inaudible to being in the forefront of the mix in a matter of seconds. And so the guitar becomes this living, breathing thing. It's almost like a human voice. If we listen to the chorus, for example, there's a great example of this. So the rhythm guitar, it comes in 3 times like this. Mark Speer will slowly increase the force of the pick attack, or the plucking in this case, with his plucking hand. And the 3rd time you can really hear it. If you listen to the lead guitar at the 1 minute mark, there's also a great example of this dynamic playing. So he'll play many of the notes with very soft pick attack. And then out of the blue, he will be much more forceful with some of the notes, just to highlight some of the things and make the guitar breathe and come alive. The dynamic element of his playing is something that does a lot for the song in terms of just keeping it exciting, keeping it moving. But it's not the only guitar move that stands out here. Another thing that makes the song a bit more exciting is the fact that he changes up the picking pattern. In the intro, he plays this descending 3-note pattern. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And that's repeated throughout the entire song for the most part, but when he plays the D, he will start with a hammer-on from the 2nd fret. And that gives it more of a, kind of a little bit of a country vibe without borrowing too much from that genre. If this was an alternate universe and it was a country song, it might have sounded a bit like this. At this point, he changes the picking pattern into a more simple one. And it's a bit hard to hear exactly what he's doing, but to me it sounds like he's doing something like this. The part with the most variation in the picking pattern is the instrumental part of the song. He first plays a little alternating pattern before he goes into the descending one. So Speer gives us these little pockets of novelty here and there. He doesn't steer us away from the original picking pattern too much, but it's kind of just enough to keep us interesting from start to finish throughout the song. There you can see how he goes up and down, kind of has this alternating pattern, and then goes straight back to that 3-note pattern that is in a descending motion. Just to summarize, what we can do with these different guitar moves that I've just shown you is that we can use them to create our own psychedelic, breathing, living songs. There's really no shame in copying from other guitarists, as far as I feel. That's really how a lot of your guitar heroes have learned how to play the guitars themselves. So why not use the same technique as them, right? In the long run, if you learn from many different people and you copy from many different people, you will eventually connect these styles together and create your own style in the process. Now let's imagine that you've already learned the song, like myself, you've learned May 9th and you want to use some of the concepts here to make your own songs. That is exactly what I did during the past month. So what I thought I'd do is I'll just show you exactly what or how I've implemented these songwriting tips and psychedelic guitar moves in Ableton in my own songs. The first thing that I wanted to emphasize is the fact that I used minimalism as soon as I started this project. So I basically just copied the chord progression. I transposed the pitch, as you would say in, in fine language, fine theoretical language. I changed the pitch 1/2 step up on the guitar neck, but I basically just used the 4-5-4-5-1 chord progression from the intro to the verse, as you can hear right here. So 4, and then 5, and then back to 1. And here you can hear the verse, and in the verse I added a lead guitar. And so with the lead guitar you can hear that I used a sense of dynamics. I plucked or strummed the strings a bit lower, and then I increased the pick attack as it went on. So just to kind of add that dynamic element as well. All right, cut. So I actually had some issues recording this video, this last part here, some technical issues. I was actually gonna go a little bit deeper into how I made this track, but I guess that's it for today. I hope this video helped you go from composing to recording your first song/songs. If you have any questions when it comes to this stuff, feel free to drop me a line on Instagram right here. However, if you're ready to go all in with your music, click the first link in the description and book a free one-on-one Zoom call with me. On these calls, what we normally do is we just talk about your goals and your challenges related to composing and recording. We'll create a step-by-step framework so that I can actually help you speed up the process of going from composing to recording and actually finishing your songs. And then at the end of the call, you have the decision to either take this framework and apply it on your own, or we can potentially work together and speed up the process even more. This is exactly what me and my student, Maxwell Turner from Iowa, decided to do a few weeks ago. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been really helpful meeting with you these past couple weeks, just because you opened my eyes to a lot of ideas on working like it's a job, you know, not just treating it like it's a hobby. If it's something that is really special and means a lot to you and you want to get somewhere with it, you got to treat it with discipline and tackle it like it's a job. So yeah, it's been really helpful.
Like I said before, it's 100% free, no strings attached. So if that sounds great, then click the first link in the description and I'll see you on the other side. Cheers.